Hello and welcome to Slashie's Midnight Coding Session number 12. Today I will be working in Emerald Woods. Yesterday we had a release uh, that had was like a long time coming. Um, Pretty cool. Go check it out if you haven't. And today, well, I have been working a little bit as much as I can, um, adding some stuff, some small details like fixing how the windows look. Um, some visual tweaks, but I believe they are important, uh, so that it's more clear, like where there is a window and making them work well together, especially in this vertical arrangement. But I have also been doing some other stuff. I have been checking the roadmap because we need to progress in the roadmap, and this is what we have. We have planned this a long time ago, vegetation update, and we've done most of this. We are only missing the storage items, so I thought I would work on this today. Um, Maybe try to have this ready in one or two of the upcoming coding sessions, storage items. So uh, this roadmap may be a little bit outdated. I think we still need to uh, update it with the latest changes in the plan that we did, but I'm gonna follow it at least for now. Storage items. So what do we want with storage items? I'm gonna check the tracker, and there's much more stuff here for version 0.3. This is already filtered by discussion, design needed, okay, and we need this for version, okay, 2.14. Is there anything still on target? Discussion, gonna remove discussion. So in here we got almost everything is target, but the latest things that we added here. And as I mentioned, yeah, this is part of updating the roadmap because there may be some changes there. But what I want to do here is look for those container items. I don't see anything here related to that. So it seems like it's not in the tracker. Um, Containers. This is different. This is just water or liquid containers. So what do we want here? I don't know. I know that in games like Stardew Valley you have boxes that you can put stuff into. Um, and actually for Open Arturian we had bags that you could also use to organize your stuff. But it's a bit different in Emerald because you know in Open Arturian, if we check that, let's look at the online demo for the latest milestone. Um, Did it load? Haven't loaded it. Play online milestone 9. So Open Arturian has this feature where you have an inventory of, and the inventory has bags and you have items inside the bags, so that's a kind of container, I guess. Um, but the inventory system in Emerald Woods is pretty different because it's flat. You don't have slots of inventory. So suppose that everything is a bag, I guess, in Emerald Woods, like this list of stuff here. It's a bit abstract in Emerald. Open Arturian is much more realistic, or well, at least more figurative, I guess. Less abstract. Uh, so yeah, I don't know what we want in in emerald. This still needs to be designed, and I believe if it's on the roadmap, maybe it would be better if it was designed already, but it's not. So I wonder how we want it. I know that we want boxes, right? Like probably you want to have some box here that you can put your seeds or something like that, or a barrel. And then it may work similar to how this works with the tables where you can put stuff. So I can drop this machete here, for instance, and then I can pick it back. But we want to be able to store more than one or keep more than one item inside that container. So I don't know yet if we're going to have bags, but for now let's work towards having boxes or chests or that kind of container in the world that you can use to organize your stuff. So how is this going to work? So I imagine that we will want a screen that is similar to this one, maybe with the contents of the container, and then we can put some stuff in or uh, take it out. And maybe because yeah, this is easier to navigate. I don't think we should have like a Ultima 6 style of containers where you examine the container and the entire content pops out. That's not something that works nowadays. And then if you want to put stuff into, you can just use R to put stuff into the container. So let's attempt that initially. I'm going to first create the item, the container item itself, maybe a chest, just a simple chest. So I'm going to go to the 16 tile set, 16 by 16, and let's create some simple, actually I think, no, this should work. Yeah, let's put it here. So let's look for a reference for a chest, because we don't have anything similar. So let's go ahead and look for pixel art chest. And these are pretty high resolution that we want. Hmm, let's take, let's see which one we can use as a reference. Maybe I will use this one. Probably, as I always mention, this is just placeholder that we're gonna change later when a real pixel artist that is not me jumps into the project to fix the stuff. Anyways, we, we have to work with what we have. So chest, chest, chest. This one looks better. This one. So we're gonna use this one as a reference. Actually, I like this one from the bottom because it's a bit more fitting with the theme. So let's try to replicate that. So we start with an outline, and it's gonna be for now just closed. So I'm just gonna create a square. Oops. Normal rendering mode, square, with some dots here and here, and it's gonna have like a surface in here, and yeah, I like that color scheme. Let's use these teal colors that we have here. So we're gonna start with this background, this dark background, fill it here, and then use a lighter, no, let's use the darker background, this one, yeah. And let's use the lighter one for this area, just to mark around this area. And we're going to use The even darker one. Well, it doesn't look darker. Okay, so let's change that. This is gonna be the not so dark. These tones are a bit. This is not probably going to look very good, but we're going to start tweaking it. Yeah, that doesn't look like a uniform gradient. It's changing the actual hue. Let's try with the gray. Yeah, the gray should work better. So we're going to go full gray. Let's put the darker one here. Next one is gonna go like most of this. Next one goes in this area. Um, where else? Yeah, also in here. We need a small notch here. And then we need this gray separator again, same height as the notch, and this border is actually here. And we are missing, this is still off because we haven't changed the hue for it. And back one shade for this. And yeah, it doesn't look that horrible, does it? This should be. Do we have a darker hue of gray? No, that's not it. Um, yeah, it's only missing the handle. And it's a big tick here, so let's make it a bit smaller, like this part. Yeah. And will we have enough space for a handle? We can put a simple handle at least, like this. Small shades here. That will work. That will do for now. Little bit rounded. In here, and maybe in here. No, that one's not needed. Uh, Larger handle, but yeah, that will conflict with that part. Maybe rounder handle, something like this. Um, yeah, that kind of works. Okay. That's gonna work. So it's gonna be how to call it? Box. Yeah, let's call it a box. So I'm gonna save here. Gonna go to the items, and then in the items we're gonna create that steel box. Steel box. It's gonna be a container, and it's called. Um, Hold on, the sound is gone. We need some sound. Steel box. How to call this? A box made of steel. You can store stuff inside of it. The appearance is a steel box. The weight, this is in grams, and it's very approximate, but it's gonna be a bit heavy. Let's make it so that it's like 1 kilogram. Yeah, 1 kilogram. effect store. So we have this effect store. So when we try to use a container such as like a paint cup or a plate, there's already some logic that does stuff. But right now, I think these containers are just containers for fluids, like water and paint. So that's gonna be a little bit different. I don't think, let's leave it without any effect initially. No, hmm, container capacity, yeah, so this is how many of a given fluid these containers can store. That's a little bit different because we want a number of items. Is liquid, yeah, so I think we will have to refactor a little bit how containers work. And I mentioned that because, well, we have these kind of containers, the liquid container. So if we go here, we start with a cup. That's a container. Can store liquids and small objects. That's a lie. It can only contain liquid right now. And if I go here, I can store the water using the cup. And now it's filled with water. And that's because the cup is a container with a capacity of one quantity of that fluid. So that's why it can store that water. But our containers will be different because they contain items, not fluids, and not a single kind of fluid. Hi, Hamasa, welcome to my stream. So, yeah, that's going to be different. Um, but yeah, both things need to coexist. So let's spill this water in this frog. Come here. Poor coop. Spill. Nothing happened. I guess I just gave him a bat. Um, so yeah, for now I will not merge both things. I will keep them separate to make things simpler. So let's leave this as is and let's create a new effect called store item. It's gonna have a capacity for now. Let's make this like a number of items that you can put in. Again, we gotta start simple. It's not going to have any of these. You cannot eat it. You cannot do anything like that. I forgot what this is about. This is the map, okay? Yeah. So let's load that steel box item into our JSON file for the items. I'm gonna use again this very useful website that you can use to convert CSV data into JSON. Now we go to the this is items.json and we put it there and we format the document, and here we have the new item that we are adding. Um, let's put the banner. It's very huge. No, yeah, let's put it. I wish I could edit it. Can I edit it? Oh, I think I can. Oh, show display names. It's a bit big. Oh, background music. Okay, let's put this background music from StreamYard, Lofi. Do you like it? I guess it works. Then I don't have to worry about me putting the background ambience from Emerald. This one's better. Anyways, too big. This one, like it. Oh well, no. Alright, enough of fun. um, distraction. Okay, so we created the item here in the JSON file. Um, we now need to add the appearance for that item. So we already created the sprite. Now we are going to create here in the appearances data the steel box. Steel box. Again, ASCII mode is completely disabled right now. Someday I will enable it back. But yeah, the steel box is in the coordinate, so we go back to the tile set. This is the coordinate. If we look here at the graphic scale, it gives us 3.3, 3 of the 16 tile set. And it doesn't have any special rendering rule. So we just again load this into the JSON converter. Ooh, I did not need to download it. We go back to the appearances file, and we're gonna do something. We're gonna add one of these steel boxes to the initial cabin. So we go to the templates module, and we look for this my cabin, my house. We're gonna add an additional. We're gonna put it somewhere. Let's say let's put it in this room. Yeah. So we're gonna use key number 5, and 5 is going to be a grass with a wooden floor on top, and then a steel box. Yeah, let's do it like that. Okay. So with just these changes, we should see the steel box in the house when we create a new game. So let's go there and verify that's the case. New game. And there's nothing. There's nothing here. We saved all here. I'm gonna save the game to be able to quickly resume. No, let's not save the game. Oh, well, there's the 5 here, there's the 5 here. Did we... Okay. No, this is another template, so that should be fine. Maybe I did not save this tile set. So let's save it. Let's go again to create a new game. I need to make it so that these settings are saved. Still nothing. I wonder if it's invisible. There's a wooden floor, a steel box, so it's there. It's just invisible. Why? So this is 3.3 on the 16. And if we check here, in the appearances, steel box 3.3 and the 16. Why is it not rendering? Maybe it's a cache thing. Most probably. So we're gonna disable the cache. Network tab, disable cache, refresh. By the way, that reminds me that I gotta also add that steel box to the recipes that you can craft. Don't let me forget that. So we have Hamasa, this game. You can actually play it. It's like currently like on an open alpha, open testing, and you can test it out. Well, not these latest changes that I'm doing, but as I mentioned, I just released a version of this yesterday, and you can play it in this address. I don't know if it pastes. Yeah, it doesn't work on Facebook, but this is the address. I'm gonna put it here. slash.itch.io/emeraldwoods. You can actually just download it. Well, if there's a downloadable, but it's only for Windows. Or if you have a Mac, you can play online without having to download anything if you want. And yeah, we are in this phase, like an open beta, open alpha. Um, Crap, still not showing up. But yeah, it's gonna be on Steam afterwards at some point when we put more stuff in. Um, so for now it's free, but then it will be not free. I wonder what's happening with the image. Where's the image? Image. Source public. What? Where are the images? In here? In this worker? No, that's the worker. Where are the images? I don't know why the box is not surfacing. We are streaming simultaneously on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube using StreamYard because I paid for it and I want to make use of it. Why is the chest not displaying? It's there, I can see that it's there, a steel box, but why is it not being rendered? We already checked and the tileset is being updated. If we check here, we can see the change in the tileset with the addition of the steel box. And it's on the coordinate tree. Oh, I think I know what happened. That always happens to me. Yeah, that's it. My bad. It's not comma, it's dash, so it's 3-3. Crap. And we are not going to Dar Hamasa needs a copy of the game. I will send it to you. You are a very special member of Slashware. You even have a cap. There's like 5 caps in the world of Slashware, and you got one, so you have lifetime access to all the Slashware games. Alright, so it's gonna work now because we're gonna fix this, and in the appearances it's 3-3, not 3,3. It's gonna display now, believe me. Create a new game. We don't need this anymore. And there's the steel chest. We need to do something additional. We need to make it solid so that I don't step on it, so that I cannot step on it. That's pretty simple. We just go to the items definition, we look for it, and there is a okay, so there is no solid here because these items sheet is meant more for things that you can pick up freely, whereas we have a world objects sheet for stuff that is placed in the world. It's still an item for the game, but yeah, whatever. So we're gonna move that to this other sheet. Actually, do they have effects? Well, we're gonna see in a while. Steel box. So we're gonna paste it here. Let's freeze this part. Steel box no longer asks for this. Name is steel box. Appearance is a steel box. Weight 1 kilogram. Doesn't ask for this anymore. That's weird. The description should be somewhere. Oh, here it is. Okay. A box made of steel. Description. Effect is gonna be stored item. And this is the capacity, and it's currently not here because we did not have like any world object that could store stuff. So we're gonna have that. I'm just gonna add it here, and I'm gonna use the same name that was here, container capacity, because we're gonna reuse that attribute. And this is 10 for this one. And we're gonna have to do a couple things here. So render group is the same. It's not fixed. You can move it. It's heavy, but if you want, you will be able to grab it, and it's gonna have stuff inside. Probably the weight should include everything that is contained inside, but just jumping ahead in the future a lot. So it's gonna be solid, but it's not gonna be part of the solid chain because we don't want, for example, if you put a fence next to the steel box, we don't want it to stick to it. And it's gonna be choppable, not breakable, not indestructible. So we're not gonna add that. And that's gonna be it. We're gonna copy all this CSV data into the converter, and we move it into the world objects JSON format the document. The items, we're gonna remove it from here. So we're gonna roll back these changes, and we are going to also remove it from the items sheet. Steel box, bye bye. All right, that should be enough for the game to pick up the changes, and it's now also going to be solid. So we go to a new game. Enter here. There it is, and I cannot step on it, which is great. That's what I wanted. So step by step, we now have the object there in the game. We can pick it up if we want. We can drop it again. And we want to be able to drop stuff on it. So for example, if I'm here, I want to be able to drop this mango inside the container. And I also want to be able to examine that steel box, and instead of it just displaying the description, it's gonna show something like this with the contents of the steel box. And that's gonna be a bit complicated because we're gonna have to refactor to reuse that UI component. We can reuse it because it's currently used by both the imagine menu and the cooking menu, and yeah, it's a generic component that we can look forward to reuse, but it's not gonna be simple. So for now, the first step that I'm going to do is be able to drop stuff into this container. So we're gonna go, well, we're gonna commit this change first, this first change. We're gonna commit this change of adding the steel box object. So here, also adding it to the map. And that's it. Add steel box object. Still not functional. There it goes. And now we're gonna make it functional. So we are going to go to the code of the player class that drops stuff. So there's a play drop function, and in here we have the try drop. This is a big function that does a lot of stuff. So here you can see that there's already some logic when we try to drop an item in a table. um, we are gonna add some similar logic if we're gonna try to drop. So here's if you're dropping, if the under item is the item that is already there, the place where we are dropping um, the other item. So if there's an under item and it's a table, it goes here. If it's not a table, but it's of the same type of the item we're dropping, well, we try to stack it, else it says that we cannot drop it. So here we're gonna add an else if the under item is a container, something like this. If the under item is a container, and we could, how do we determine that it's a container? Well, for now I'm gonna use the what's the name of the attribute? Effect. Let's use the effect attribute of the item definition. So if the effect is a store item, then it's a container. And yeah, we don't want to be able to store living beings there, so there's that. And for now, just console.log trying to store what item am I trying to store? Item.def.name, just that. And it's not gonna do anything. We just want to be able to display that. Actually, let's use this instead of a console.log. Trying to store the item.name here. Save all, go back to the game. It's gonna reload because of the user agent, sorry, the worker. There it is, and let's drop the axe. Trying to store the hoe here. Progress. Okay. So, items. Items, if we look at the item class, have a stacked item. That's the tables have a stacked item. But we're gonna need a list of items which are contained. So contain items is gonna be a list of items. It's gonna get super complex in a bit, and I know that because that's what happened in Open Arturian. The inventory system in Open Arturian is crazy. To support all these, like different kinds, you can put a container inside another container. Well, there's different party members in Open Arturian, so it's get more complicated. You can transfer stuff with drag and drop. But yeah, we'll see how it goes for Emerald. So contain items is here, and we are gonna simply add it there and remove it from the player. So let's remove this error message for now. Let's ignore the capacity of the container, and let's just do this. The under item dot add item. So it already has add liquid. We're gonna add item, and what are we going to add? The item that we are dropping. Just like that. But we need to remove it from ourselves, and probably that's what we do here. It's very similar to this. If we are dropping a single item, we clone the item. Yeah, and again, this is gonna probably need some refactor to avoid removing, duplicating stuff. For now, I'm just gonna do this dot remove item. So I add it to the under item, and I remove it from the player. and we are gonna copy this, return true. You put the item into the container, and we end the turn, and we just need to create this under item add item. So we go to the item class, we look for the add liquid, and we are going to add item, item, item. And for now, this is just going to be dot contained items dot push the item. And we need to initialize this. Oh, okay. No, we need to initialize it, but not here. Let's do it in the constructor. We don't have arrays. I think, yeah, let's do it in the constructor. So this dot contained items is gonna be a new array. And I also wanted to look to see if there was any special logic in the serialization of the stacked item. Let's look for it here. No, there's nothing weird. Okay. Oh, no, actually what I care more is the content liquid. Doesn't seem to be anything weird. Alright. So this is the simple version. We also want to be able to see what's inside the container, and as I mentioned, it's gonna be like a nice UI with a grid for the items that are inside. But before we have that, we need to at least show a number of items or something like that, just to know that it's working. So we are going to, where can we hook that? Well, let's do this for now, just like this. New game, creating world. And we're going to drop the axe. There was no message for some reason, but the axe is no longer in my inventory. So I hope it's there. But why was there no message? You put the, maybe, okay, no. Okay, maybe there was an error. So we gotta check the console and see what happened there. Close all. Console, no errors, but we're gonna refresh to see if there's an error the moment where we drop something there. No errors. No errors. Okay. Yeah, something weird. I wonder if we hit this at all. But if not, this would have happened. So we're gonna need to debug and see what's going on. And just for simplicity, I'm gonna put a debugger call here, because I don't have time to look for where to put the breakpoint. Release it. Okay, so we are here. What happened? Under item is the steel box and the item is the hoe. Okay. Step. And what happened here? You put the item into the under item. Let's step into it. Okay, yeah, I know what happened here. Yeah, this is a byproduct of the transition to the new UI where actually this message will not appear at all because we need an alert. Actually, do we need an alert? Because that is like part of what we changed. Like we are changing the feedback from those long messages into something shorter. So we are just going to do this. I'm still adding this because at some point we want to also support the ASCII mode again, and we're gonna need that. But for now, let's just put this. So if we add this, then we're gonna get a small message on top of the player when he puts something into the container, and I believe that's better. So let's go there. And let's drop the home. No message. Oh, I messed up. Why no message? Um, you drop, you capture, entry added, faint. So it's the second parameter. Okay. Yeah, I need to add the location. This.x and this.y, and that's the location in the world where the action happened, and it calculates then what part of the UI it should display the small or the short message. Pot. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay. Yeah, and then we need some sound. Um, there's already a play drop sound somewhere. I think I saw that. Play drop. Play drop. And it currently depends on where you are dropping things. And yeah, I guess we're gonna have a special one. Mm, let's leave let's leave the to do for now. Mm? To do play drop SFX. Drop in the chest. Yeah, at least we need a UI sound, like a confirm sound or something like that. A beep, neep, beep, beeps. Okay. Beep. Mm, yeah, I mean we are gonna leave the to do here, but even if we add the to do, I need to keep some feedback to the player because I don't know when that to do is gonna be executed. But I don't know. Let's look at the files in the directory of the project. So we're gonna look for the audio, SFX. We have other stuff here. Left, right, break, shop, craft, drop. Mine, paint, draft. I'm inventory, close and open, negative feedback and selection. I think at least, or maybe just some of these drop mine. There's some echo there. Drop wood. Yeah, let's use this one. And then I already left the to do to do something better. So drop wood. What's that the name? Drop wood 0. Um, so I'm going to pretend this is the prefix that we want to use. And let's look for the drop. Oh, drop, play drop here. And we're gonna do this. The drop audio prefix is gonna be this. And we know that it has 2 variations. Okay. There it goes. I have nothing now. Everything is inside that chest. And I cannot see it. Alright. So, dropping stuff into the chest is working, I think. We can confirm this by examining the chest. So, how is it going to work from the player's perspective? If you are here, how do you check the contents of the chest? Like examine world, imagine creation, examine chest. I mean, if we examine the chest, because we want to take stuff out of the chest. Maybe instead of having a separate command, this should hook with that. So there's a place in the player thing where we display that show tip, show clue. Examine world in front. Yeah, this is what we need. Also, we also want this to work when you examine it and you have it in your inventory, but one step at a time. Examine world in front. This.game.display.examine. So there's an examine function in the display module which defines what to do. So if it's a map, then we show the map, else we display the description. So we're gonna do this if item.there.effect is store items, I forgot, items I think. Then we are not gonna display that. We will in the future, in the near future, we are going to display that cute, useful grid. But for now, we're going to display this plus it has item dot contained items dot length items. Just like this. And I'm gonna drop the to do here. Display the grid with the contents and allow picking up or transferring to main inventory. Save all. And now when we examine the chest, hold on a second. Here. What's playing there? what music is that. Anyways, examine it. You can store, so it did not work. Store items, was that it? Store items. It was something else. Store item. Yeah. Which reminds me that there's gotta be an enumeration. I'm like constantly migrating stuff from vanilla JavaScript to TypeScript, but I will not do that now. So store item. I will do that right after I commit this because that's useful, I guess. Store item. Okay, save all. Look at it. It has 0 items. Put the code there, and now it has 1 item. So that's putting stuff into the container. I'm gonna commit that here. This is gonna be changing in the next commit. We now have a list of contain items that get initialized and then a function that adds to it. We have this. Right now it drops the entire item into the container, but yeah, it's a start. Put it here, and that's it. First step, add dropping items inside a container. Now, as I mentioned, I'm gonna change this, so this effect is gonna be item effect, and item effect is gonna be a in num here. I wonder if it already exists, so we check that to prevent any collision. Where did it gel map? So we're just going to put this there. I wonder, map. No, no, okay. Till dig. Yeah, this is not exciting, but it's very useful to avoid shooting yourself in the foot. Paint, paint, kill. These are all the different effects that an item can have. Leash. Shop. Cut. Break. Land. Exchange. Cook, read, row, cook. Read. So all this, all this complexity is actually hidden from the player, because imagine if you had to manually have all the different type of commands for each item. Unlock, transform, store, that's for the liquids, and store item. And then no problems now, so we added that. That's gonna help us a little bit in the future. Save and confirm that everything's working. Now refresh. Why was there no refresh? Did not detect like any worthwhile change, I guess. Not sure what happened there. Anyways, that happens. That happens a lot when you play in the browser. You change the tab. Uh, okay, so let's drop the axe. That's now in the chest. Has 1 item. Okay. So that's a small refactor, but it's helpful. So add item effect enum. Okay. Now let's start at least on the addition of that grid, because why not? So if we go to Pixie display and in here, so let's check how the crafting and cooking components are set up. So if we look for the inventory, toolbox data, that the toolbox is the actual main inventory that you see as a list in the UI. Examine, oh that's our to do. Show recipes, okay. I wonder if we want to reuse the UI components that are used for the recipes and for the cooking, because I mean they are very similar. Crafting and cooking is almost the same, just like different triggers, but you're just crafting food. But in here it's different. It's a grid, but it's a completely different use. So right now there's a recipes window here, and this uses the old way of setting up stuff, basically adding stuff to this class. So this class is huge already because it contains a lot of components. So we're not going to do that. We're going to have a separate class for the how to call it? It's a container contents. So let's add that. I don't think we have a directory or a package here for the components, but for example this settings panel is a separate class that I did to prevent, this is for this small thing that is gonna grow in the future. Right now it only has the sound volume, but well, whatever, it's an independent component. Same for this map renderer. Basically this is the, I think, this is not currently being used, it's used for debugging purposes for the map, but this one is used. So yeah, the idea is to have separate classes for the this is the panel, the map panel. But yeah, I wonder if we should have a components directory. Components, I just created it, and then we're gonna create container contents.ts sport default class container contents, and we're going to follow a similar pattern that I did with the settings panel. It's a plain old TypeScript object. It doesn't extend anything, but we do have a root container and we do have a game. So we're going to get all these. What do we need the pixel display for? To initialize something. Yeah, let's copy this. We don't need actually this too, but we do need this. Let's import this from Pixie, and let's import this from our model. and this as well from our model. Container contents. Let's assign this here. We're gonna need it. And the the root container is the parent container, I think. And for some reason, oh no, that's not true. The root container, we created a new, and we set it, we add that to the parent container. Like this. And we are going to copy from the Pixie display something or all of this. This is the current recipes UIs. So we have this is the root container. This is the parent container. We do not need this. Any of this. This is gonna be replaced. But we do need a frame. Fix the frame. And I believe this is why we need the display. Yeah, in the settings panel we have this display.create frame. This is old. So it's gonna be 400. Yeah. It's called the recipes frame, but in here we're gonna call it the frame. And we're gonna add it to the root container, the frame.container. So that's the background frame. Now for the grid, we import the class pixie grid that we created. This requires the UI textures pixie grid. Create selectable list. There is no create grid, but we can obtain this from the display object, display. Now this is private. We can have a similar function to this display.create grid that encapsulates that texture. Do we want that? Of course we do. So it's just this create frame. We want to create grid, and it will take some things, and it's gonna return a pixie grid. That's ours. That's some class that I did. Pixie grid. Return new pixie grid, and it receives some numbers. Let's go to the constructor here and copy that. Probably not all of them. We're gonna see. Pixie display. This guy is gonna receive all but the cursor texture. And we send these X, Y columns. Here's it's like a proxy. Rows, column width, row height, and then internally we do have this texture, so we do it like this, and now we can do create grid from in here. So the grid is gonna be display.createGrid with all these parameters but this, and we save that locally. So this dot grid is gonna be that grid, and I'm gonna keep a reference to that grid here. It's a pixie grid. And we also add it to the root container. And then we have some additional things like a title. I don't think we need a title for this. This is the, for example, when we're checking here, this is the imagine what to build thing, and we have a selected recipe name, which is here. I think for now let's not add this. Then we have another list here, which is the ingredients list, and that's what I did not want to reuse the recipes window because it's a completely different use. So no, we don't need this. And I think initially that's it. We need to hook the input and some other stuff and actually populate the grid, but for now let's create the container contents grid. Let's rename this to grid. It's not very clear in the name that it's a UI component, so yeah, container contents grid. Then in here where we were init recipes window, we will do something like this. This dot container contents grid is a new container contents grid, sending these three things. Container contents grid, and we then create it here. It's gonna be private. Probably because of the UI things. Container contents grid. I will leave it private by default. Then change it. Probably gonna need to change it, but we'll do that afterwards. So now we have that, and it's not going to display anything, but we just check that nothing broke. So here we are. Refresh. And nothing broke, which is expected. Now we need to populate this. So in the case of the recipes, for instance, when we call show recipes, it receives the recipes and some inventory mode. So we're gonna add a function here, show container contents, and we're gonna receive the container. It's an item, and we're gonna hook that right away to that to-do that we had. Here, no, that's not here. Here. So we're gonna do this dot show container contents of what item? This item. We hide this, and we're probably going to remove this in a little bit as well. This is redundant. We are already in the display. We could remove this. Anyways, show container contents, and what this is going to do is it's going to go to set the component as visible, create the data that I'm going to send, set the data, and hook some UI events. So let's steal from here. Show container contents. We are not using these inventory params. Let's leave them there for a little bit. This is legacy of how everything worked before. But anyways, so this dot container contents grid dot set visible or show. We don't need a title. And then we're gonna show this set data. So we do need this dot container contents grid set data. Basically this is container dot contained items. So This is gonna be done later, and this is gonna be done inside the set data. So we need to create two functions inside this. We need to create one, pretty simple, show. And what it does is this dot root container dot set dot visible, I believe. Visible? Yeah. Is visible is true. That's simple. And set data, on the other hand, it receives some data, and the grid needs to be updated, needs to emit a selection. Not that's only if we wanted to. I think what we will want in the future to have something similar to the cooking grid, where it displays details of the item. But for now, let's not have that. We're gonna need it. Yeah, let's keep it. We're gonna need at least the name of what we are selecting, even if we're not displaying any details. So we're gonna need text components for the name and description of the selected item. That's not gonna happen in today's session. If we manage to at least display the contents, that's gonna be enough. So create set data. It receives some parameters here. Data, which is an object. Data item. What? I don't know. Set data. Okay, so this is clearer. So basically it's an array of this. It should be typed better. It's repeated here. That's horrible. There should be a type for that. That's like grid data. Yeah, grid data item. So we need an array of these. I'm gonna go ahead and do the refactor. Set data, grid data item, grid item data. Export interface grid item data, and it's this, and we're gonna replace that here. What's the name of it? Grid item data. Yeah, that's much easier to read. Okay, going back to here, going back to here. What is this? Contained item, set data. Okay, now the grid item data. Yeah, let's just pass it. So data is gonna be a list of grid item data, and we need to send it. So we need to map it like they did here. So we're mapping each item, converting it to, oops, what happened? We're mapping what happened there? Each item gets converted to an object where the data item is the item itself. Oh, what's happening here? data. Yeah. Why is it complaining? We are missing text. Okay. Text. That's why it's a good idea to have the types defined. Because text, it seems it's really not needed here in the pixie grid. It was defined, but in reality, we don't seem to be using it. Yeah. So let's remove it. We don't want to carry any garbage. Okay, and then in here, render data. Okay, this is. Why is it not working? Get menu. Recipe. App function of a recipe. Yeah, we need to refactor this. Tint. We are not gonna support tint. Let's simplify stuff. We're almost there. Why is it asking for one less? One more. This one's for the mapping and this one is for the arrow function. Why is it asking for another one? Okay, title, no problem. On browse, gonna be a problem afterwards. Current items we don't want. Show can come afterwards. App function. So the app function that this has takes a recipe, and that's the type that is inferring. But we should have another one. Oh no, because we only use this for recipes right now. Yeah, it's not inferring anything. It's strictly typed like that. Anyways, we're gonna change this because the app function get menu render data from app. It's gonna be items store is there menu appearance for the items? There's gotta be one. It seems like we manually get the menu appearance only used for the inventory appearance. So right now, yeah, I'm curious about that. For now, let's just put the normal appearance. So we're gonna go here, and the render data is gonna be based on the appearance of the item. Item of def dot appearance. That's it. That's all that it's gonna be. Curious about this nesting here. Show container contents, okay. Set data, and we don't need this. Let's see what happens there. curious. Maybe it's gonna work. Save all, no issues. So we go here. Drop the axe and examine it. Okay, crashed. Something happened there. Cannot read properties of undefined data item when we try to emit. Let's not emit selection for now. Just update the grid. Well, almost worked. I mean, I can see the content. Everything's there now, and we look at it, and there you are. It's displaying the contents in a grid. Of course, it needs more work. We need to be able to tie this with the input so that you can select one of the items and then grab it, transfer it back to your inventory. And we also need to add a way maybe to only drop a single item instead of a full stack. And we also need to add a limit of the capacity of the container. And we also need to display the details of the items we are selecting. Did I already say that? I don't know. In any case, that's good progress. I think probably in the next session we can finish that and complete this, which would be great because we could move into this other thing. We still have a lot of stuff here that we need to reevaluate and see if it's still something that we gotta do. As target for this version, so it may delay the completion of that version. A lot of this is based on the gameplay sessions that we have had. But yeah, that was good progress. So thank you for watching. This was a Slashie's Midnight Coding session number 12, Emerald Woods. This was a kind of, I guess, out of schedule session. The schedule for the Midnight Coding sessions is Tuesday and Thursday around 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Colombia time, if I remember correctly. The schedule is in the Twitch channel. Remember to subscribe to the Twitch if you want to see me coding roguelikes. And thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.